Hey everyone, it's Lizzie and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. Please consider subscribing before you leave. Also, if you do end up liking today's video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up. So guys, we are continuing on with our Budget with a Friend series. I'm actually going to be reviewing another friend's budget here on YouTube, and I will revisit the prior episode for part 2 of the business side of things. I'm still working on a couple of ideas and tips, so that's why that video has not yet been up because I'm trying to get it all together. But this particular person's budget, I'm really excited to review, and if anybody is in a similar situation than this individual, I hope that my suggestions and my ideas and my perspective may be helpful for you. It's sometimes nice to just get a second set of eyes to look over your numbers and see, hey, maybe we may find something that you may not have noticed, of a way that you could save some money, pay off debt, or cut back on a few things. So guys, let's just go ahead and get into this Budget with a Friend episode. All right, so a little bit about our friend here. Sorry, there is noise in the background. Hopefully it's not overpowering. But she's single and she is an empty nester. And there's a couple of things that she does have in place already, which is awesome. She has an emergency fund of $1,631. And she does have some funds set aside for taxes. One of the things that she really wants to focus on is to build up her tax savings for tax time. And she does have some debt. She has $23,496 worth of debt, and this includes a credit card and 2 student loans. And then we get to her goals. So these are a couple of the goals that she shared with me. She of course wants to pay off her credit card. It has no interest, I believe, until that April date. If I'm not mistaken, I think that that's what she had said. And then she does want to beef up her emergency fund up to $2,600. She also wants to establish a car maintenance sinking fund because she has a paid off car, but there's those little repairs that happen throughout the year. And so in total, it's about $2,000 that she wants to establish for that. And this is a big one, her taxes. So she gets an alimony every month, and she is worried and she's concerned that she has not, put money aside specific for taxes for that income that she has received. So she says that she wants to save at least $2,800 by May of next year. And another thing is to stop using her credit cards in between her pay cycle, and we'll get into how frequently she gets paid in just a minute. But let's look at these goals. And I get asked quite often, how is it that you can establish sinking funds? How do I know how much I should be allocating for these specific savings goals of yours? And this is a great example. So let's take a look at this right here, not the credit card, but this right here. So she wants to save $2,800 by May of next year. So let me pull out my calculator because she has some funds, as stated up here. She already has $143 for that specific savings, okay? So this is gonna be considered a sinking fund or a savings bucket, whatever you wanna call it. $2,800 is what she wants to save. She's already had $143 set specifically for this savings, $143. So you take the amount that you want, which is your goal amount, and you subtract any savings that you already have for that specific purpose. So now this gives us a total balance of $2,657 that is remaining for her to meet the goal by May. So how many months is it until May? Technically, it should be until April because you'd want to save it before But just for this example and this purpose, I'm just gonna leave it be, okay, in May, we want this dollar amount saved, right? So we have, I'm not gonna count November. I'm just gonna count starting for December. So we have December, January, February, March, April, and May. Okay, so 6 months, right? 6 months we want to start saving. So what I did is I divided it by 6, okay? I guess you can include November, so that way she'll have it by April. We could just, however you wanna see it, that's how you can do it. All right, so we're gonna divide that number by 6. So 442, 443, you know, if you wanna round up, let's just say 442, that's what I wrote here. 442 roughly a month, I wrote that right here, is how much then she should be saving to reach this goal by May 20th, okay? So that's the monthly savings. Then you can get even more specific, and that's where the paycheck budget method really can come hand in hand and just bring it all together. So if you get paid weekly, you can take that monthly, you know, savings amount and divide it up by the number of pays you receive for that month. So if it's 442, for her, she gets paid twice a month, so we're gonna divide that by 2. So $221 is how much she should save for that specific savings sinking fund for her taxes. You can do the same thing with any other savings category that you wish. So that's just hopefully I explained that good, for you to kind of tie that savings goal with what your timeline looks like for when you want to have that dollar amount saved. Okay, so this is a little bit about our friend. We reviewed that, and now I just kind of plugged in her paydays and things. I started with November. I'm currently filming this a couple weeks in, so it's November 11th when I'm filming this, so she had already received her alimony. You know, I'm assuming, yes, she already paid these bills here. She had received her November 5th, but what I'm gonna do is fill out the bill tracker. I already filled out the bill tracker. Now let me zoom you guys in just a bit, and if this is your budget friend that I am reviewing, you could take a screenshot of it and actually download these worksheets. They are free on my website, so you can go to the freebies tab. You don't have to put in a password or anything, and then you can just print them out right on there and fill it out. So this is my bill tracker, and I absolutely love using a bill tracker or something similar to this if you get more than one pay in a month. It really works well for weekly pays, for bi-weekly pays. I love it. So how you use the bill tracker, I do have a video when I explain it, but just a quick overview of it for those of you who are just, you know, stumbling across my videos. I like to mark out at the top when I expect a paycheck, when I expect income to go into my bank account. And then down the side here is where I list all of the expenses, the fixed. You can put in variable. I've told people you can even put in what you want to stuff for your cash envelopes, you know, groceries, whatever. You can write in all of your expenses down the column right here with the dates. All right, so for her, we wrote in all of her expenses that she is expected to pay within a month. So we have the due dates, what the bill is, what the total amount due, and then you're gonna see some highlighting going on. The highlighting is for me to visually see, okay, we need to have this totally completed to be paid on the highlighting, on the highlight dates. So then when I get to my paycheck budget, or for her paycheck budget, you can then see, okay, we've already planned where we want the money to go for those bills, all right? Now I like using a checkbook register. I'm kind of old school, I guess, but they have apps for that, guys. So I do have a checkbook register app where I track, you know, me setting aside for these specific numbers. I would put that into my checkbook register so I won't spend it from the bank account. I love that. If you, however, that doesn't work for you, a lot of people will take out the money physically in cash and they'll put it into the cash envelope for that designated bill. And then when it comes time to pay it, they deposit it in the bank account. So, I mean, if that floats your boat, if you're good with that, going and doing multiple trips to the bank, by all means do that. Personal preference, right? Personal finance is personal, guys. So do whatever makes you happy. Okay, so on the bill tracker, I wrote in when she would receive her income. So you're gonna see there's a date up here. And on the 1st of the month, she receives her alimony. So instead of doing all of these separate dates up here, since these two are so close together, I figured, you know what, we'll just go to the bank then the one time, if she does use the cash envelope method, I'm not sure. But you know, we'll do the budget once at the end of the time when she gets paid, her actual paycheck, and then we'll factor in that income with this. So that's what I did for November, and then here's December. I just continued on. So this is the November and December bill tracker. Again, if this is your little budget, go ahead and take a screenshot of this, reference back to this, and you can use the worksheets that are up on my blog. All right, so this is the first pay. So what I did here, this is for November 5th's pay. What I did here, you can see we have her paycheck. So she gets paid $18.25 and she gets paid bi-weekly. But then on the 1st, she received an alimony of $500. This allowed her income to be $23.2520. She did not mention anything about tithing. You all know how I feel about tithing if you've been around for a while. I do believe in, you know, giving back at least 10%. I mean, have that be a goal amount. If you can't give the full amount, try to start, you know, start with $5 or $10, you know, just being generous, especially this time of year. I think it's super important. But if she didn't mention it, I am not going to write it in and kind of push my view on it. However, if I woke up in her shoes, that's what I would do. And that's what these videos are all about. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and let me flip my iPad. That way you can see exactly what I do. Okay, so what you would do is you would have these two side by side. If you print them out, you're a paper pen, you know, physical planner girl, then you'll have your bill tracker on one side. So see, this is the bill tracker. And then your paycheck budget on the other. When you get to your fixed expenses, you will then go to that specific column and you've already mapped out what you want to be set aside from that paycheck for that bill. So that's what I have done here. So these numbers right here are coming from the bill tracker, and once you write it in on your paycheck budget and you've counted it, you will then check it off down this little column here, okay? And I'm assuming that the highlighted ones, I'm assuming maybe she didn't set money aside, so that's why we have the full amount here, but I would have, you know, split it up into the 2 months. So that way it's not a big blow to your budget. So hopefully you're following me with that, and hopefully that makes sense to you. Do you like it this way better to see, or do you like it to be in like the portrait mode? I don't know. I'm gonna leave it like this, but let me know in the comments like which direction you like it to be. I kind of like it the horizontal way, but let me know what you guys think. All right, so we got her expenses. So she has, you know, the typical expenses. We have insurance, her rent, the utilities. She has a credit card, supplements. So she gets that as a subscription. She has Apple Care, her internet, and then another utility bill. Her total fixed expenses comes to $1113.71, and that leaves a remaining balance to budget out for as $12, oh gosh, $12.11.49, and this allows us to factor in variable expenses. So this is the variable expenses, and she told me that she budgets out about $400 for groceries a month, $100 for restaurants. So what I did, I just divided it by the 2 times she gets paid in a month, and so we did it this way. So these are the amounts that we are allocating for her variable spending. And I did include a buffer here. So she did not mention anything about a buffer, but since she says that she tends to use her credit card in between pays, maybe you might want to consider factoring in some sort of a buffer or a cushion in case, let's say, this paycheck around you spent a little bit more on groceries or maybe a little bit more on gas. You can then dip into your checking account and utilize the little bit that you have there. That way it may alleviate some of the concern of swiping your credit card. I recommend, because I can totally relate to your concern of using the credit card, but maybe just leave the credit card at home. Leave it at home the times, that way you're not tempted to just swipe the credit card when technically it may not be a need because you've already covered the needs. I don't know. What do you all suggest about that? But I definitely think a buffer is important for anyone's zero-based budget, because I do believe in giving every single dollar a job. So maybe start off with a small amount like the $50, you know, and slowly build that up each of your paychecks. Okay, so $550.49 is what this whole section comes to. Now I want to reference something up here. So I made a note, and I love percentage budgeting. And this was taught to me by Jordan Page. She has a whole video explaining that, and I definitely recommend watching it, so find her. But this is what changed our budget. This is what changed our life when it came to breaking down our finances, because there was moments where I was like, gosh, I have no idea like what I really should be setting aside for these different, you know, categories, and like, is it too much? Like, what? I want to save more. I want to pay off our debts. Like, I want to do all of these things. Percentage budgeting, I feel it gives me some sort of a guideline. I know this doesn't work for everyone, but this is, I just am suggesting it, right? You submitted the information to me to get my opinion, my feedback. Try it out. Okay, so where did I get these numbers? I got these numbers by taking the total income, the $23.25. I'm not going to look at the change. And then multiplying it by 0.7 to live off of 70% of the income. And that gave me the $16.27. Same thing with the 30% as the goal. I would have split it up 10% for tithing, 20% for goal. But again, this is her budget and I'm just breaking it down for her. So 30% comes to $697. So if you wanted to be within 70%, you can definitely bump it up to 80, but I'm just using this as a suggestion. You'd want your total expenses, so these two, the fixed and the variable, to be either at that 70% or below. This will free up some of your money to apply and allocate to other things. So where do we stand? So this fixed expense column right here is $11.13. I'm not going to look at the change, plus $550. Let's see where we're at. So this comes to $16.63. And our goal was to be at $16.27. So not, oh, my dog is choking. So not too far. Oh gosh, are you okay? Delilah, Delilah. What's going on? Hairball or something? I swear my dog thinks that she's a cat. Sorry. So 1663 is what it comes to. 1627 is what I had recommended to be within that 70%. So not too bad. Let's see what the difference is. 1627, it's $36 difference. Okay, so you could maybe adjust either your grocery, maybe if you really want to be within that 70%, it is doable. $37 really isn't a big deal, but if you really want it to be gazelle intense and apply extra to debt, maybe you can take $36 from something here and apply it to tax savings, apply it to emergency fund, apply it to extra debt. That is just a suggestion, something to think about, okay? So now we have $661 left to budget out for the remainder of her budget, right? We're not finished yet. So she had said that she puts like $175 for taxes and all of this, but we wanted to be at that goal. Remember, let's reference back to the goal. Over here, $442 a month is what we wanted to save to reach the goal, right? So if you take that 442, that gives us 221. So I just added that towards this right here. That's where I got the 396, because she says she applies like 173 or 175 plus the 221. Hold on. 175 plus 221. Yeah, 396. Okay. And then her car maintenance, I just took the $2,000 and I divided it by 2,000. I divided it by 12, so for a year, and that gave me $166, and I divided that by 2 because she gets paid twice a month, and it gave me $83. So that's how I got the 83 number. Again, this is all suggestion. And then she also says that she has a home maintenance, so she wants to put $50 or $100 a month. So that's $50 each time she gets paid. So I just factored that in. And I added a category here just for food for thought, okay? You had mentioned that you didn't want to use your credit card, you know, for different things. We are getting to the end of the year, you know, New Year's. I don't know if you celebrate holidays, but in case you do, or, you know, just for fun, I've just put fun miscellaneous gifts. If you want to just buy something nice, you should factor that into your budget. So I just put in $10 just as a starting point to get it going. I know you have other goals, but again, this is all just suggestions for me to just recommend some things, right? That's why you submitted your information to me. Or anyone that is similar situation than this. I hope that this just gives you ideas. Okay, so $539 is what this section comes to, but we're still left with $122. So you take this number, right? I took 661 minus 539, it gives me 122. Then over here we have the goal, okay? This is where you can factor in your emergency fund savings, any debt, anything else that you want to save towards, you can put that in here. So she wants to save $100 each time she gets paid, the $200 a month, so that's $100 each time she gets paid. And then we have some extra funds, $22, that she can apply towards an extra debt payment. So for her to achieve, you know, hopefully to be able to pay off that credit card first. So the 122 and this 122 balance over here, these two, it gives us a zero-based budget. So that's how I will budget out her first pay of November. I know it's already passed, but that's what I would have done. Now let's move on to the second pay, because this one is a bit different, guys. It's a bit different. All right, so this is the second pay, and let me just turn this because we're gonna do the same thing that we did. Looking at the bill tracker and this paycheck. All right, so this paycheck, she received that $1825.20, but that was it, okay? And then we still have bills to pay. So where am I getting this? Right here on this column. We've already planned it out. I can just move those funds over here on my paycheck budget worksheet and check it off as I go down. So that's where I got those. Let me turn this. Sorry for all of the back and forth. Goodness. All right, so these are all of the fixed expenses. They're pretty much similar to the first pay, but we have Amazon Prime here, we have iTunes. So in this one, her total fixed expenses ends up being $990.12. So then we have the variable expenses still, $200 for groceries, you know, all of this, I just pretty much left the same, except for the buffer, just because we have less of an income, less of a number to work out and break down the budget. So $535 is what this comes to. It leaves $300 to budget out for any savings and any other goals. Now, referencing back to this percentage method, so for this, 70% of that income comes to $1,277. So you take the $1,825 and you multiply it by the percentage that you're hoping to, you know, live within. I just put 70%, but you could do 80. It's all, you know, a work in progress. We're working towards hopefully living on way less than what we make. That's really the whole point of the percentage formula. All right, so the expenses, I'm gonna see if it's possible for her to live within $1,277. So that way we can save and apply towards goals, $547. So where are we at? Okay, we have $535 for the variable, and we have $990 for the fixed. $1,525 is what it comes to from this paycheck. So we're above that 70%, okay? So it's probably gonna be more towards the 80 that you're gonna be able to have this work, possibly. I mean, it's kind of tight. 1460 is what 80% is. So one thing I would suggest, if it's just you, now I don't know what your food diet is, I'm not sure, like, you know, it's all of that is a personal preference, but if you follow Jordan Page, she gives like this formula for groceries of like $100 per person in your household, starting at $300. So your grocery budget right now is $400 for the month. Maybe see if you could possibly drop it down by $50 or $100. I don't know, like see if that is at all possible. Try it out for like, try giving yourself less of a budget for a certain period of time, but break down your groceries every week. Like don't pull out the full $200 for the 2-week period, because you're gonna blow through it. Honestly, if I see the money, I tend to kind of use it a little bit more. But if I separate it and I split it up, like I know there's a few people here that they'll take out the full money and they'll set aside in their safe and only pull out by the weeks. Snow Gardener does that. So yeah, I would definitely recommend maybe splitting up this and doing like $100, leaving it in like an envelope or something and you're safe, and only carrying with you the $100 for groceries when you do grocery shopping, not the full $200. Break things down into smaller amounts, okay? See if that works for you. Okay, so $300 is what we have left over, and since it's less of a money that we're able to apply, we're gonna actually have to apply a little bit less for taxes. You could totally switch this up and not do what I suggest here, but I still think it's important to apply for taxes and definitely car maintenance. If you say that you have to fix your car so often, still apply for car maintenance. So this totals $200, and we're still applying that $100 for emergency fund because that is super important. Now here's where you're gonna, you know, those of you might say, well, she needs to save for taxes. Hold on just 1 second, because we have another paycheck that we're gonna look over, and this is for the month of December. So I'm only gonna review one of the budgets for December just because of time's sake, but this is where the difference that we weren't able to save for the last paycheck, we can then apply it for this paycheck, because she's gonna get paid not twice from her job, but 3 times, okay? So I think that this is awesome. And if she's getting paid 3 times, we can even, I just carried this over from the prior one, but we can even split this down even further so it could be less. Just a thought, just a thought. All right, so this one, she's gonna get her alimony in the first, she has her paycheck, $23.25 is what this totals. This is very similar to the first pay of November that we looked over on November the 5th. We're looking at the bill tracker. That's where I got these numbers. Same thing, I'm not gonna go over that again. $718.37 is what this paycheck budget is gonna be set for her fixed expenses. So she now has $1,606.83. It's much less of the fixed expenses because she gets paid 3 times. So we're able to divide up and kind of, you know, stretch out and split up her finances a little bit more between the 3 paychecks that she receives. That's why it's definitely less. All right, so $1,606 is what she has left over, and we have her variable expenses. So we're still, again, we're factoring in a buffer each time. So hopefully throughout these paychecks leading up to this point, you haven't spent all of the buffer, right? Because you've allocated for variable expenses to be covered, but if anything hits your account or something comes up where it's a little bit more, you have your buffer. So we've already put in, it's 100 here. Let's go through 100, 35, 50. So what is that? 185? Something like that? Oh gosh, correct me if I'm wrong. But you know, we've now factored in a buffer, a cushion in your bank account, and hopefully you're leaving the money in there, not spending it all, because then you'll still have some money left in your account, plus your savings, your emergency fund, your sinking funds, right? You know, hopefully that makes sense and that can help you. So with this, we're left with $1,006 to budget out for. And here's where I've added back in the money that we weren't able to save the prior paycheck. I've added that back in because I really think that she should be saving this amount, the $396 each paycheck, but I get that it's not possible each time. So $117 is what we were able to save last time. So I just added the difference back in here along with the $396. So $675 is what she could save from this paycheck. We have her car maintenance, that home maintenance, savings, and then again, I just added a miscellaneous. It could always add up. You know, you can increase that if you see fit. So in this category, we are now able to save $818 to her sinking funds. She still has $188 left to budget out for, and that's where we have that $100 emergency fund that we've been saving each time. And then she can add in an extra debt payment of $88. So this is my, you know, my thought. I know that there's so many other ways to break down a budget. This is just my perspective and my point of view, and I really hope that anyone that is on a one income, you know, you get paid bi-weekly, I hope that the bill tracker suggestion helps you, and breaking down, you know, your budget so you're not taking the full $100 or $200 for groceries when you get paid, but you're gonna split it up even further each of those weeks, right? Because you get paid every other week. So 2 weeks, or excuse me, 1 week, you're not receiving an income, you've already received it. So you wanna stretch out that money as much as you can. And a great way that you can do that is by breaking up your weeks from using your variable spending. So definitely try out the cash envelope budget system. It has changed numerous people's lives. Try it out if you haven't, and I really hope that this video was helpful for you guys. And if you would like to have me review your budget, I have a budget with a friend form. It's a Google form. You'll just put in all of your numbers and I will contact you to see if I have any other questions, but all of it is kept super confidential. I never share names or anything, but I really hope that this helped you, friend, or anyone that is in a similar boat. And if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it, a thumbs up. Comment any questions that you might have, and I'll see you guys right here in a brand new video. Bye, guys.